and have a look at it in your own time. What's in here, and I've not been able to get this, I had previously downloaded this, but there's a tutorial in there, which it's this one, a downloadable interactive application for PC only. That one is a non-accounting exercise, probably takes about 15 minutes to run through, that shows you the full interactivity of our exam screens, with things like the on-screen calculator that we'll be making available, something we call the scratch pad, which is an area that you can make notes, brief written notes, and so on. As I had downloaded it, and then my laptop told me that I had the wrong something or other. Supporting resources down at the bottom, there's a bit of guidance in there which just talks about what really I've gone through so far. The tables that you would have in any exam, you'll see them in the practice exam. And then there's the correct answers for this test. Now, one of the features in the exam is that there's a shuffling function. So if two of you are sitting beside each other taking the same subject, F1 I'm going to be playing at, you might have the same selection of questions, but they won't be in the same running order, right? They shuffle around. Now this practice test doesn't do that, and the main reason, there's a couple of reasons, but one good reason is that that is a PDF, right? So if we've got the answer to question 1 as being 60, and it had shuffled in the questions, and you had a question that says, what type of car do you drive? 60, right? That's the rationale in there. So you can do that afterwards, just check what you get right, what you don't get right. Now I need to, if you haven't done this, I just want to talk you through this bit. Accessing the practice exam, there's a bit of a story in here. There's a registration process. There's a warning in here. It does take a few minutes to complete the registration process. It's not doing anything sinister. We are not harvesting your personal details for any peculiar reason. It's just that we've used Pearson VUE, our assessment partner. We've used a platform that they've got, which is a secure platform. It's the most convenient way that we could do this. And it just means that there is this little bit of a slog to go through. You create an account, and you know, it's asking for you to create a password, and it asks for you to give the answer to 1 or 2 questions. What's your mother's maiden name? One of them is what's your ideal job? And of course, the answer is a management accountant. And so on. So please don't be put off by this. It says it down here, there is no charge, you will do things as often as you like. I can testify to that. I think I must have done about 60. Oh, hang on. When's 5 till 10 CDT? Is that now? I hope it better not be. And when you click onto it, you come onto Pearson VUE's website. And on Pearson VUE's website, so things are different in here. I've already created an account. The username Peter Stewart had been taken, I was told, when I went on, so somebody's being mischievous. So, there we are. So my username is Her Majesty the Queen. Yeah, it's true. And my ideal job is something like running the Commonwealth, something like that. Okay, so when you get in there, and I'll just walk through this one, a few clicks in here, and just to let you see, it takes you through. As yet, there's nothing too alarming. You come in, you find the subject that you want to practice with, all right? And I'd say, just have a look around them. It doesn't matter if you've studied for the subject or not. I've gone into I think I've done them all now. I might not have done F2. You know, just to see the variety of questions that are in there, the variety of question styles, the frequency of different question styles at operational, management, and strategic. Please wait. It's getting there. That's it, right. Exam details, system requirements, register for this exam. Might sound a bit frightening that you're saying you're registering for exam. Believe me, nothing's happened. It talks about there being an order. It asks you to go to a checkout. And that really, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't ask you a credit card at any point. It doesn't. It actually, when you're creating your registration, I think it talks about a CIMA registration number as well, and that is not your CIMA ID that you've got as the numbers hyphen number. It's completely independent there. Cancellation policy doesn't matter. I agree to the CIMA practice exam policies listed above. Don't think I've ever read them. And again, it goes on about an order, submitting an order. We're not going to send an invoice and then send people round to collect money. If that happened, then I must have done, somebody knocking on my door at home, because this all goes on my home email account. So just now, an email has been sent to my home email account. My wife and I, just because we're technically or technologically a bit backward, we just have a shared email account. So she keeps on seeing me buying these exams coming through in the mail. I was joking that it was our wedding anniversary in August, and because July was a busy time, and a receipt for that, I think it says receipt for or invoice for comes in. So I think she was opening to see what I bought for our wedding anniversary. Oh, another exam. Brilliant. What a romantic. There we are, there's it, right. Now this starts to look like what you would see in the real exam. Front page landing, telling you what subject you're taking. Well, I think it will put your name up there, so Elizabeth Windsor. Front page, I'll click next. This will be quicker on the real live exams in Pearson View Centres because it won't be using Wi-Fi, it'll be hardwired. All right, and we're into the first test. So this is what it looks like. What is missing is that in this light blue bar, there'll be two clicky boxes. One will be a scratch pad, and the scratch pad will pop out. It will be just a plain white window that you can type in and make brief notes. All right? Now, I've not yet found a need for doing that, and as I say, I've done quite a few exams on this. The other thing that will pop out will be the on-screen calculator, and those that were here in February, I think that, well, I can't remember if you guys complained, probably not, far too polite, but everyone else did about the on-screen calculator. And we've kind of overturned a previous decision since February, saying that you will be able to take in your pocket calculator. It will have to be within an acceptable range. You can't use the calculator function on your phone, because you could also then find yourself using your phone, taking a photograph of a question, texting it to a friend who then texts you back with the answer. So yeah, this your normal pocket calculators will be acceptable, but there will be the on-screen thing that can pop out. The other thing that we've got here, just to show how a pop-out works, don't need for this question, but in papers there will be tables and formulae that you might be using. So in F1, you might find yourself using the present value factors or cumulative present value factors. If you needed them, they would pop out. As I've just done, you can size them so that if you think you're only working there, then you can keep it beside the question and scroll around, find the numbers you want, click the X when you don't need it anymore, and back to your question. All right? Now, the full thing, so the two pop-outs up here, calculator and scratchpad, are on that tutorial that I pointed out, so I can get that to come up. Now, being operational level, I've got start off with a multiple choice question. All right, now I'm not a financial accounting tutor at all. It's ages since I've done this. I'm not going to get my calculator out and do this. I'm just going to click a few of the buttons to show you some different questions. But look, what we can do, and I'll try and show you a couple of the features on this. This is, it's got calculations in there. And I might not want to get involved in calculus. You saw that first question that I had. It was, which of the following is not short term, I think it said. Right? And it's very quick to answer that. Yeah? You know it or you don't know it. You might need 5-10 seconds to consider between two of them. But once that's done, you're off. You don't have to, you're not going to get the scratch pad out and start making notes and it's not a huge in-depth analysis, so it's a quick to-answer question. All right? And you'll find there's lots of questions that are like that. And if I were doing this exam for real, I would want to go all the way through and get all the questions like that, number one. Yeah? Because it would take me, and I've done it with different questions, it would take me 15 minutes, it would take me 20 minutes, and I would have done 15 or 20 questions. Yeah? So if you think after 20 minutes you've done 20 questions, you're confident that you've answered 18 or 19 of them correctly, then that's brilliant, because then you can come back and find this question again and think, I know what to do, but I don't want to be in a rush doing it. So you get 20 questions out of the way, your heartbeat goes down, you're calmer, you're able to read more carefully and see, is this an exchange rate that I have to divide by or multiply? I'm purchasing, so I've got to pay that amount, so do I go for the high rate or the low rate, or whatever else is in there, and you work out your figure, all right? I'm going for that one. Okay. Oh, sorry, just before doing any more, the other thing that you'll have in the exam room is one of these, and this is it's a whiteboard. This is why I say like the scratch pad. I'm old-fashioned. I like having a pen and paper for scribbling notes, and that's what I'd be using this for. So you'll be given a felt pen, a wipeable felt pen, non-permanent pen. And you can use this just to make quick notes. If I had to do that calculation, I'd have the exchange rate, have the numbers, divide and multiply. But obviously it doesn't get submitted as part of your answer. It's just so you can doodle and make notes. So you can have that amount of space open when you're doing this. Okay? So it's, I think better than a scratch pad, but that's because I'm old. All right. So yes, we can go through. Let me try and find a few other question styles. Right, bear in mind for a moment now. Oh, actually, this is showing a little bit big. Let me zoom this down a bit. One thing that we didn't see until I'd done that, top right-hand corner. I've got a countdown clock. It tells me how long's left. 84 minutes, 90-minute exam. This is question number 4. That's just information up there. Then I've got this other thing, flag for review. Now, in thinking about this, I'm going through a few questions. I think the usefulness of this is to say, I have attempted this question. Purchase unit of 36,000, profit for the year was 64,000, income tax 25%, first year tax right down the line is 50%, 18, 25%, 4.5, 64 take away 4.5, 59.5, and something, right? No, I don't know quite what happened there. No, that was wrong. Okay, so anyway, I do my numbers. 46, 23,000. Right, I think it's 23,000, but I didn't use my calculator, so I'm not too confident. What I'm going to do press the button, flag, the flag goes yellow, and if we manage to stay alive on this exam, I'll show you what happens at the end. Here's a different question. So that was question 4 that played it. This is a drag and drop question. There's 3 options, and advisory and council, I imagine, advises. A committee, I imagine, reports, and I've not even read the whole question, so I don't know who I'm kidding. International Accounting Standard Boards, neither. All right, but look, the words stayed in the box, so I could have used advises, advises, advises all the way through. There are other ones where you get to use the word once, and it leaves the box empty as you move it away. All right. So again, I won't flag anything more. I'll leave one flagged. I think I click next. I'll click next again. It's having a sleep. So I promise it won't do this in the exam. It's either my laptop or our hotspot. I've clicked next about 3 times now, so we'll see where we land. That's question 5. Yes, see, there we go. All right, question 7 is one that while I'm looking at financial reporting, financial accounting. Another box that's up here. Okay. If you look at if you can see the words, it says click on the exhibit button to view the trial balance. Place the correct values from the options listed on the right in each of the highlight boxes in the table. The exhibit, I click that open, I can drag it around, I can widen it, I can drop it down, and I've got a trial balance there. Right? I can't remember what I was asked, so I'll put that back up. Balance at the 1st of January for the revaluation reserve. That looks like 1,250. Total comprehensive income. What? Let me see the whole question. I have no idea what's happening there. So let's say I've read it very carefully and worked it out. Then this is my dragging. Again, I dragged the words, the numbers, sorry, and I could have repeated them. Now, I don't think that looked like being a massive question. I'm pretty sure I'm right with the 1,250. All right? But now, that's question 7. AB's trial balance, starting with admin expenses, 910. Let's look at question number 8. And I will click this once. There we are. AB's trial balance, admin expenses. So we've got 2 questions that depend on a common set of data. This question, I'll hide the box, is about current liabilities. Yeah, nothing to do with revaluation reserve. So it doesn't matter if I got the previous question right or wrong. This is an independent question. But what we've done is just tried to create something that gives you a stream of thinking with familiar, or figures that sort of familiar for a short period of time. All right? Now this one is not drag and drop, it's enter the number. So what was it? Current liabilities, oh my goodness. Which are they? Accruals, 125. Trade payables, 780. 905. There's a thorough piece of work. If that's right, I will go out and buy a lottery ticket. All right, another one, same story. There's the AB's trial balance. Same things in there, and there's a number that I need to click a multiple choice. Okay, and one more that does it again. So this is the last one in this case. Now these questions, I talked about questions shuffling within the real exams. These 4 questions are linked electronically. So when the exam is real, They might not be questions 7, 8, 9 and 10, they might be 17, 18, 19 and 20, it could be any combination of numbers, but they will appear together. They won't be split up as here's 7, here's 9, here's 23, all right? Now, one other thing that I'm going to show you, just with this one, if I think the cost of sales is 720, all right, so there were two numbers down there, there's two things that this will show you. Let's say I've read it and I think I've done that. I'm going to click next, and it's going to tell me, if you can't read this, you have not viewed the entire content. So it's just warning me, look, there's information I've not looked at, and therefore I may have answered the question incorrectly, I may have missed a potential answer. So what I've got to do is scroll down. Notice on the right hand side, the scroll thing says, look, you also want an income tax expense. Right, so all right, I'll pay a bit more attention now, I'll read it properly, and I'll come back and do whatever I need to do. All right, and notice with this one, what happened when I took the numbers out of the box is that they are one-hit wonders. I can only use them one time each. Right, so that is probably not right. Right, so there's a few safety nets that are in here. That looks very much like question 1. I don't know why it's in there again. I'm going to try and click through. There's a few others that are in here. A lot of these are multiple choices, so if I've given it a handful of clicks there, if it takes me through, I'll keep on clicking. Oh! There we go, that didn't work so well. That was being unresponsive. Right, bear with me. I'm going to try to get through to number, here's one. Right, number 13, bear this in mind because I'm going to try and use this as a demonstration. An entity regularly fails to pay. Which two of the following problems could result from exceeding supplier's trade credit? Which two? Okay, now, I'm going to show you two things in here. I think if you exceed supplier's trade credit terms, it will reduce your credit rating. I think that will mean you have difficulty in obtaining credit from new suppliers, and I think it also means that trade receivables may be delayed. Right? So I went to click a third thing when it had asked for 2, and it says you have reached the maximum number. So it's forcing me to go back and think, hang on, if I've got to choose between this and that, just take another minute and take some care to say which is more likely. All right? Now, that's one thing. So it was going to tell me if I had too many. Let me take this away, and I'll take one away. So now there's only one box that's being ticked. Remember, it asked for 2. Right? I'm going to click next, as in, there's your answer. And it accepted it without highlighting. Right? Now try and bear in mind, that was question number 13, so I've done 2 things, question 4 and 13 that I've fiddled with. All right, now, let me just bundle through. Multi-choice, which is least likely. Now, a question like that, which is least likely, is quite a higher level of question than which is untrue, because probably all 4 things are quite unlikely, but you've got to use your judgment in there. That type of question is more commonplace in the strategic level questions. Another multiple choice thing. Now again, in a real exam, I think there's a lot of stuff to read there. It looks like I'm going to have to ponder on them. I would probably click past this one. But just because it's here, if I want to change my mind, so I've clicked the first one, I can click it again and the little dot disappears. You see that? Just there, the dot disappears. Or I can click the one that I now think is correct, the one underneath, and the dot moves. Right? So that won't allow me to do two things. Yeah? Like the ones that want to, or the one as many as you want. Trade receivables days ratio based on that, it must be 45. Give your answer to a whole number. There's a whole number. Don't know what it was. What do you think, 64 and a half? It's not how to do exams. Easily 8 orders per year. Oh, caught me out again, I didn't read the whole thing. That's just telling me what's in the formula that I just did in my head. Right, another one that looks like it involves dragging numbers over. This one, oh look. I can repeat the numbers. I can try to get them in the right places. I have no idea what I'm playing at. Right, now, unfortunately, what I've got to do is keep on clicking through. Which 3 of the following? Let's just do that. Click 3 things. We're getting a good run on the hotspot. Managing to make some pace through here. There's one that I've got to find, and I hope I don't click past it. Answers a whole number, well that must be that. Oh yes, that's another thing. If I want to write that the answer is 6, and I decide for some strange reason I want to write SIX rather than the number 6, if I press the S button, it says I've put an invalid character. Okay, now if I think it's 6,000 and I want to do 6, 000, I put 6 in, comma, invalid character. So it's just pointing me in the right direction. It doesn't delay me. I've put 6,000 in and I can now move on. All right, so it picks me up on these things. 34, nearest whole number of days, that must be 54. 2, most likely to help reduce tax avoidance. Make the tax structure complicated, it can't be that. Social attitudes. What? Yeah. Oh, done it wrong. Right, first 2. I'm trying to get 1 or 2 marks in this. Just. No, it's gone slow. Bear with me. And I've just clicked a lot, so. Kill pages. There we go, 1 decimal place. So I don't know how many I've jumped there. It's going slow. Alright, a drop down here. Balancing charge or allowance. It's just a slightly different way of multiple choicing things. It could have said, is there a charge allowance? Click a box. And how much is it? So there's a number. That can't be right. Oh, come on. The time I'm waiting could actually do that in my head. It's a little bit too slow now. Right, look in here. A junior accountant prepared the following corporate income tax computation. That's it there. The accounting profit of 125,000 has been correctly calculated. There are 2 errors of principle within the income tax computation which need to be calculated to arrive at. Right, so this tells you what's an error of principle. It's not an error of calculation. It's something's in there that shouldn't be in there. And it says, click on the numerical cells in which there is an error. So disallowable for tax, right? So you see I've got little sites, a target thing there. And I'm just going to find something that I think is wrong, and I'll click on it, and up comes my shot. So this is the hot spot type of question. And I think that's wrong. No idea. All right, so again, it's a sort of multiple choice thing. There could have been boxes down there, but it just allows you to mess around, yeah? Click off something, put it up there. It does say numerical columns, that one. That's what I think's wrong. Yeah? So there's hotspot. 2 things. Right. We will get there. I can sense it. We're nearly there. 48. View the whole screen. 49. Oh, I thought I had viewed the whole screen. Oh, it's because I've not gone sideways. Right. This is because of the zoom I've got it in the exams. I'll be much better at getting it. I've got quite a wide zoom so that obviously it's legible for you. 51, 52, next. Oh, multiple choice. Something like that. There we go. Dragging and dropping. If that's something to do with putting things in the right order. 56. Right. Don't fail on me now. So close to the end. I think that's right. Oh, I'm not going to try that. Okay, now the story is that we could have gone through and, like I said, answered the ones that I was comfortable with when I saw them, right? That wouldn't have taken as long as we got here. It would have maybe taken me 15 minutes, and I would have done a number of questions. Maybe not clicked as many as I have, because obviously I was just messing through in a few, all right? But then after you've got to number 60, you get this screen. And this screen has got all of the questions. Question 1 I had clicked. It was the one that was Treasury Bills, Short-Term Finance. Look, and then I've got things that are, there's 3 things that you see. Either a question that there's nothing against, question number 1. There's nothing against it. That means you've put in an answer and you've moved on. Question number 4. Well, actually, let's look at question number 6. It says incomplete. That's one that I've looked at and pressed next. Because I thought, I'm not going to deal with that just now. It's got calculations in it, or it's, you know, it's one that I want to spend more time on. And then there's question number 4, which was one that I flagged. If I click on that, it will take me back to this. So once we've got to question 60, this screen comes up. And then you can go in and out of this screen. So it's called the review screen. I did click that. It should be getting me there. There we are. Okay, so this, if you remember, I had put a number in. I didn't need that. I put a number in. And that was when I said I've not used my calculator, then to look at things, so I flagged it, right? So I'd warned myself, you can come back to this one, and I've just remembered what I did in there, so I can now look at the time that's left. Okay, brilliant. Get my little pad out, 64,000, 36,000, 50% is 18. 64 take away 18 is 46. 25% tax, not 50%. Oh, brilliant. There we go. Right? And then I can either click next, which will take me to question 5, or I can go back to the review screen, as you can't see that down there. All right? I can unflag this now that I'm comfortable with it. I could leave it. As you'll see, it actually doesn't matter. Let me just leave it. It doesn't matter what happens in there. Let me go back to the review screen. Okay, so question 4's still got a flag on it, but I'm comfortable with it. And I can unclick it here. Yeah? But even, I'm still going to leave it, just because it doesn't actually matter. The incomplete ones, to say that I passed. Now, again, further back, you probably can't see this. I can review them all. That will take me back through from 1 to 60. Review incomplete. It will start me on question number 6. And then when I press next after question number 6, it will take me to question number 13. Right? Now, I'm going to start on question 13. Because you might remember when I get there what I've done with question 13. Question 13 was the question that asked for 2 things to be ticked. And I had accidentally unticked one of them before pressing next. So only left 1. So the program has picked that up for me. And it said, you've got to review this, it's incomplete. So I'm looking at this thinking, I remember that one. What's wrong? Oh, it asked for 2, I only put in 1. And I think it was something about reduction in credit rating. There we go. So that's sorted out. Review the screen. So go to the review screen and it will come up that question 13 is clear. Yeah, there we are, 13 clear. All right, now, let's say, a couple of things will happen. Let's say I think I'm done. So I press end exam. Right? It gives me a warning. You've chosen to exit. There are 17 incomplete questions. What do I do at this stage? I look at the time, I think I've got an hour left. Yeah, I can always guess. Do I want to end this review and your exam? No, I don't. Right? Well, I do. But I say, no, I don't. Accidentally, I hit yes. That's it. Are you really sure? Because there are 17 questions that are incomplete. All right, so of course I go through and I complete what I can. Right, now I'm going to press yes because I'll come out of this one. The questions that are flagged, it doesn't say anything about. It's your own end memoir to go in and see what's in with the flagged questions. So, you know, that's up to me, that question 4. All right, I think it was the only one that I did flag. Anyway, let's just say, you know, I've done this, and if it had been, if I'd answered all 17, it would still come up with that warning. Are you sure you want to leave? Because it gives you the chance just to go back and review. You could go back and say, I'll review all. If you've got an hour left, why not? You know, just go through, double check, see if there's any notes that you made on your pad or your scratch pad that you want to double check the workings on. Yeah? You've got the time, you use the time to the full. It's now going to tell me, this is what happens just in the practice exam now, this is not going to happen in the real exam. It's opening another window for me. You'll get this in the practice exam. It's having a look at what I've done. It's going through and saying, is that Elizabeth Windsor again? The person who's done the most practice exams, right? And eventually, you will, in the live exams, you will get a report like this. Hopefully not quite like this, because I'm going to go down. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm quite impressed by that. That's more than I got yesterday, isn't it? I got 17, 16, something like that yesterday. Yeah. And I wonder what ones I got right. and you know, the important bit for you guys, even in the practice exams, but obviously in the live exams, it doesn't matter what happens there on the score, whether it's a pass or a fail that's given. It's telling you where your strengths and weaknesses lie, right? So that if you have to retake, well, obviously if I have to retake, I better do a little bit more in all 4 syllabus topics. And if I'm moving on to the case study, you know, I might have scored 80 marks, 80%. And so it would say, A, you've done fantastically well. Let's say I've got 90, 90, 90, 60, right? Then that's just telling me, whatever this is, fundamentals of business taxation. Before I do my case study exam, I better just, you know, give that area, well, more of a review, right? And just say, you know, what was in there again? Stuff about balancing charges and allowances. Yeah. Am I going to see that in case? Am I going to be asked to calculate tax? That sort of stuff. So just sort of bear in mind that the fundamentals and principles of it, I need to pick that up for the case study. All right. But then, you know, that will be your post-exam report. Any questions on that? Yeah. Sorry? Oh, do you not never noticed that? Grade taken. I don't know what, I mean, I suppose I say it every time, that's the only time it's come up. I've got no idea. I mean, with the practice exam, I really don't know what it means. Because I didn't even complete it, did I? So I've no idea. Again, there will probably there'll be something clearer in there. I mean, I think it's because it's sitting on Pearson VUE's secure platform that it's probably a formula that they've got, and in some other exams I've got no idea what might sit in there. I wouldn't worry about that. I'll take the registration ID. No, I wouldn't worry about that. And again, even with these practice tests, I'd say, you know, don't look at it and say, are you trying to get 70% or above? You know, they're there so that you can experience how they work, how you can see what a range of exams is. You know, if you've taken and passed our current F1 exam, then you'd probably be able to do better than I did in this one if you gave it a decent start. But it's not an indicator really of anything. It's a slightly different syllabus. There's stuff in here on the management of working capital that you wouldn't have done in your F1 exam. So, you know, it's a different syllabus, it's a different exam, it's just for the experience. That's why I'm saying, you know, have a mess around with the E3, with the E1, with the P2, and have a mess around with them all. See if you can get more exams done than me, or Her Majesty the Queen. Okay? All right, let's take a break. If we can take 15 minutes, then what we'll do, come back. Is 15 minutes enough? Is it? Yeah? We'll take a look at a case study practice exam, a little bit of the background on that, okay, which I'll need to set up.